7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, so usual stuff here. The first two shocks you don't really need a CD for, just to reach 3 Bastion of Glory stacks, so I'm going to get my EF rolling now since it's free at that point. He's now enraged. This is where it's important to have some nice SOTR uptime, because he hits quite fucking hard. So I want to make sure my SOTR is always up, and I'm going to pop DP for that 3rd stack. The ad is coming down, it's my responsibility since I'm dealing with the ad first. Now, what you should do here is you should seal swap, which I just did. I swapped to Seal of Truth. Just to make sure I get the extra damage in on this ad. It ticks for a lot. I want to make sure I use my execution sentence right when he's about to start jumping, right now. And I'm going to pop my wings too. I should have saved my AS there for his landing. That was a bit of a blunder, but it's really important that that ES stat gets off right as he crashes down. See, yeah, that's the important part. And the ad is dead. So now I want to make sure that I swap seals back to Seal of Insight when getting back on Blackfuse. Taunting 3, 2, 1, taunting. With all these mines around, it's good to SOTR, help a bit with the AoE damage on them. Obviously, no reason not to. The boss is enraged, so I want to make sure that I have full SOTR uptime. I just ate a 4th stack there without popping DP. If your gear is good enough for it, you can do it. It's a bit of a risk, obviously. No reason to actually take that risk. Shredder down. I want to pop my AD here for the 5th stack in order to make sure I don't die. So there's the AD proc. And now I'm on the ad while Lerald is on the tank. I go back to Seal of Truth just to make sure I get max ticks on the ad. And the ad, as you can see, is dipped in the fire. So all those extra stacks are really huge on it. So there's the hop. I pop my execution sentence. It's always a minute between when I need to use that. I get out of the area just to make sure I don't get crashed from above. And then I go back in, execution sentence ticks, and the ad is dead. Lerald has gotten his 3rd stack, so it's time for my 6th taunting. My 6th tick will come in about 3 seconds, so I want a DP and Guardian for that. Make sure I don't die. There it is. Swap back to Seal of Insight too. That was a bit slow. Now that I've taken 6 stacks, Lerald will take the next 4 up to 7. The next ad will be my responsibility. So the next ad should be coming down any moment. You should grab it, Lerald, like right now.
Taunted.
I could have died there. He taunted very late. I would have gotten a 7th stack there, which I shouldn't be getting, and it would have killed me. So swapping back to SOT for this ad, just to make sure we get a bit of extra damage on it. Bring it over here to the purple marker. Always keeping an eye on my bog stacks. As soon as they hit 5, I refresh my EF on myself. I use my execution sentence a bit late there, so it's not going to do the best damage that it usually does. However, it is certainly better than nothing. It'll still tick pretty hard towards the end, and I got an AS too, so that ad melts in the end. Make sure I swap back to SOI right after that. Back on the tank. Lerald just took his 6th. I will sack him on the 7th just to make sure he doesn't die. If he dies on that 7th stack, it's honestly pretty much a wipe. So his 7th stack will be coming in 3 seconds. I'm going to sack him right now. As soon as it hits, I taunt. Taunting 3, 2, 1. Bring the boss back into position. Back to 5 stacks of bog. So I'm at 5 seconds on SOTR. The boss will be enraging shortly. I want to make sure I have 5 Hopo for that enrage so that he doesn't fucking truck me in the face. If I get some DP procs, that is great. If not, I will have to supplement with something else like DP. So there's the enrage. I have 4 seconds of SOTR left right now. I can reapply another 3. It's running low, so I will DP now for that 2nd stack. I'm going to drag the boss. Actually, it's fine, Reyes. So there's no reason popping my SOTR there. He wasn't even facing me. As soon as he turns around, then I use my SOTR. Buys you an extra second or 2. This is stuff that people should be getting used to in order to maximize AM uptime. So there's the 3rd stack that was just used on me. I will be taking a 4th stack, and for that, and for that 4th stack, I will need to use my DP, which will be coming off of cooldown. He also just enraged, so having that DP on top of the stack, on top of the Shredder falling down on top of me, is very important mitigation. moving out with the Shredder. So I'm gonna keep SOI up while I move out with the Shredder through the fire. As soon as that happens, I will then switch to SOT. As you can see, I just did. I make sure to dip him in the fire for the extra stack damage and the SOT damage, and then I get my wings and my execution sentence up on him. It was a bit slow this time again, but as long as I have an AS up and the execution ticking for when he crashes down, oh, shouldn't have been hit there. Good old Avenger shield saves today. So you want to burst the Avenger shield as soon as he lands down. It's your hardest hitting ability at that point. Switch back to SOI when you get back on Siegecrafter. Taunting Siegecrafter 3, 2, 1. So taunted Siegecrafter, I have some nice DP stacks rolling right now.
It's unfortunate.
The boss should be...
It's almost not went up.
Fuck, they just missed it. See, the boss would have enraged there.
It's like...
Can I get a single rip on that?
I go make sure you get
Moving back over a bit.
back.
Taunt it.
I had a heavy shield on me there, which is why I didn't use my AD on the 5th stack like I usually do. What this allows is for me to use AD on the 6th stack and take a 7th optional if I really need.
Yeah, the AG's here.
You guys should be on the belt.
Right, boss.
Yeah. And
We need to kill the shockwave turret.
Taunting Blackfuse in a moment.
Yeah, that's her.
Taunting Blackfuse.
Maybe a grip to the boss does.
I'm gonna get hopped up here because the ad wasn't moved.
Grip that 141 out.
This Shredder's not dying. That's not good. I'm gonna have to use extra damage on it.
Shredder.
Laryl should have been DPSing it.
What are
we doing?
Kill the missile turret. Very fun.
Okay.
Watch the saw blade.
Next one's yours, roll. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to focus because we're fucking up this fight
You
really
guys should
hardcore right now.
use all cooldowns on the belt. Finish
we got
boss.
Okay, so there's the 4th stack on Laryl right
Watch
now.
mines.
Gotta move the boss over to blue a bit. Mines are breaking loose.
Do you want our group to go again?
Yeah, grip it.
Oh,
This is gonna be a wipe.
right?
It's it is a wipe.
Jesus Christ, guys.
Let us wipe quick. Make sure we get mass res up. Mass res save up.
I was seeing like some melee not going all the way to the end again on the belt.
That's really bad.
Got a better res on his.
We just wasted all of our time by doing that.
You're taking your time. Can I repeat everything I said? So the reason we wiped, for whoever was wondering, that actually all stemmed from the belt that was missed. When I was over here towards the end of the fight, when I just picked up the boss after killing the second ad off on my own in the middle, the boss gained a shield, is because we missed the belt. Missing the belt caused empowered shockwave missiles, which spawned, of course, RNG, on the opposite side of the room. So there were rings spawning through the middle of the room, killing people. Everybody was everywhere. It just caused chaos. Mine started going off. That ad didn't die, like Laryl didn't DPS the ad enough. So everything just kind of went to shit, and eventually the raid wiped. Everything up to that point was pretty much perfect. Warrior would have made it. Warrior actually might have made it a kill. I don't know. For this fight, Royd's raid leads a lot more than I do because he deals with belts. I cannot obviously see belts from this edge of the platform. Somebody's asking a couple days ago who raid leads for Midwinter. It's not really one raid leader. I guess most of the time I call and raid lead, but like Royd's does a fair amount too. Like on this fight, he probably talks more than I do. It's usually just a collaborative effort based on what we need, and obviously not to have people talking over each other either. That's important because mumble clutter sucks. What are Hesp's talents for this fight? There you go.
There was a point where there was between the gateway exits that one was fatal during the last attempt.
No, I mean I died like as I was running back towards the boss. Like I was on the boss, and like the last like magnetic pulse brought him back in, and
yeah, I like when I touched the gateway at one point, I went over one.
Okay. Ready check is eat.
Seriously though, as we just saw, never get lazy on
Those
the
are my
belt,
trinkets.
Ever. You can just wipe at any point if you fuck that up.
There's so much stuff in my inventory. I don't know, man.
Always
Pack
go up
rat.
there on
I just
time,
haven't
always
cleaned it
hit
out
the
in a
correct
while.
Target, always go through all the fucking
I could
games,
actually
your
dump
melees
this
right to
spark
the
because
end.
I'm already starting to
Waste our
sock
fucking
it
time.
mastery
It's all
instead of
peace.
haste because I'm so over haste cap. So I would like to dump this spark. I unfortunately have not gotten a Mercy's trinket. I could dump this for a variety of other
There's some
options.
options.
Frankly, I just don't log on to WoW between raids anymore because I'm playing D3 and because I hate SO. Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. On this boss, when I do my countdown, I actually usually taunt at about 1 second or half a second left because scumbag DPS like to get that early bird hit in, and that causes me to not get the first stack, which honestly oftentimes leads to a wipe. Okay, so I got my 4 stacks of bog there. I get my EF rolling right away, which you can see in the circle with the timer in the bottom middle of my screen. I'm going to start building a bit of holy power here for when he frenzies, which is right now. So he just threw a saw blade. Now I start using my hopo. There's no use in using it when he's tossing his saw blade. He's not actually damaging me. I'm going to use my DP again for that 3rd stack. And I'm going to take the shredder out just like I did before. Pop my SOT. And just start DPSing the shredder. Now I'm going to pop my wings a bit early here, which is what I should have done in the first place, just so they're rolling throughout the entirety of the shredder DPS. So as soon as it starts casting its jump, I'm going to cast my execution sentence. Here we go. There it is. I want to make sure I have an Avenger's Shield for when it lands, so I'm going to save that GC proc right there for when it lands.
Stunned.
There's the land. It's got the debuff. Do big damage to it. ES hits it. Add dead. I swap back to SOI, going back on the boss. Now he is frenzied, so when I taunt him, I need to have SOTR up, taunting. So there's my SOTR. He's also going to apply his 4th stack, so I use my DP on that. You can use a DP every 2 stacks. So his frenzy's done. It's okay if I leave a bit of a gap technically for SOTR. You really shouldn't be doing it, but obviously I overgear the fight. So once he turns around again, I use 6 hopo. There's the add. I'm going to use AD here to make sure I don't die. So AD is procced. Laryl taunts the boss. I got the shredder, make sure I dip it in the fire. Get my Seal of Truth going again and just DPS the shredder. Keeping an eye on my cooldown on ES and popping it as soon as I can. There it is. So Death from Above's got much Death from Above, guys. And there's AS again, so I'll have AS for when it lands along with the execution sentence. And there it is. So it dies. Laryl has gotten his 3rd stack. I swap back to SOI, taunting. The boss is frenzied right now, so I need to make sure. So I proc Cloak there because the boss was a bit out of range. I was a bit slow to taunt it and get my CDs up. Luckily, Cloak saved my life. That shouldn't have been happening, though. I should have gotten my DP up along with my Guardian immediately after taunting to make sure that that 6th stack doesn't kill me or proc my Cloak. Now I don't have a Cloak. So Laryl, as before, will be taking the next 4 stacks. I will be dealing with the shredder. I'll be dealing with the shredder, so I go back to SOT. I start moving the shredder after those saw blades have moved on through.
Yeah, I'm getting angst.
I still have a bad habit of using SOTR, thinking it puts up demo blows. Forgot that they changed it for Crusader Strike as well. Keep an eye at all times. Keep an eye at all times on my watch that. Keep an eye at all times on my bog stacks to make sure I refresh EF accordingly. Use AS here once it's crashed down. It might survive as good. So I swap back to SOI, and Laryl just took a 6 stack there. Once he's about to take a 7th stack, which will be in about 10 seconds, I will use Sack on him to make sure he doesn't die through it. So after the Saw Blade, I'm going to use Sack. Again, the boss does not DPS you when he's throwing a Saw Blade out. So using your active mitigation when his back is turned to you doesn't do anything.
No.
Taunting. Blackfuse is on me.
Let's try to get Minden Bar up.
So the Shredder is Laryl's responsibility since he's the only one that has stacks currently. He has enough stacks to DPS the Shredder through the healing beam at this point.
Sloop, can you Devo now?
Yep, it's up.
Beyond mines.
So the boss is about to frenzy in a moment. When he does, I will pop my DP and also use my Hopo. There it is. I'm dead.
So he said that's gonna be it, actually. Alright, let's just
See, I would not have died there if my cloak proc had not procced earlier
Can
because
just jump off
I
and
didn't play
repo.
well earlier. If my cloak was alive there, I wouldn't have died. So, there you go. That's what happens. Everything chains together. See, this is why it's important to have a damage reduction ability when when he's in his frenzy. Bosses on average melee swing every 1.5 seconds. However, when he frenzies, he's attacking 100% faster. So he's melee swinging, and he already melee swings pretty hard. He's melee swinging every 0.75 seconds. So he meleeed me twice in a row for 500k in less than a second, and it killed me. So there were two things that I did wrong there. Once, when I procced my cloak, I didn't DP and Guardian early enough. I should have done it a second earlier. That caused me to proc my cloak. Also, again, it's actually a bad habit that I have. Also, again, I cut it too close there when I died. I should have SOTR'd prior to taunting. However, I combined my SOTR with my taunt, and given game lag or whatever the fuck it else may be, it got me gibbed because the boss hit me prior to the game registering the fact that I pushed my SOTR button and gibbed me. Ready checks out. So here, just a nice slow back pedal. No reason to rush the boss over to blue. There's plenty of time. Again, I want to build Holy Power for when he frenzies here, and make sure I have 5 Holy Power ready to go when he does, which will be after the second one right now. So 5 bog stacks already. I'm going to get my EF rolling. So I already have SOTR up. That's okay. He's tossing his Saw Blade. No reason for me to SOTR. Now I SOTR that it's up. I will also use DP for this 3rd stack. And the ad is coming down. Man, these are great DP procs. So there's the ad. As I'm kiting it, I want to swap to SOT, just like I have been before. And I'm going to pop my wings early again, just to make sure that I have max uptime on them. I also fat-fingered my Guardian, which is not good at all. But that's okay, because I can call for a PS later. I'll just have to reverse my CD rotation. So there's my ES at the beginning of that cast. I want to make sure I hop out of here and have an AS available for when I hop out. So AS is up, the ad is down, so I want to burst it as hard as I can now during that little window. There we go. Switch back to SOI for when I go back to the boss. Second stack is already applied to Herald. He's currently frenzied, taunting. So when I taunt, I want to make sure that I taunt with SOTR and perhaps DP up since he's about to apply his fourth stack. I refresh my EF since I had 5 bog stacks. There's the fourth stack. So since I don't have my Guardian, Kev PS me. So I called for PS. I'm gonna save my AD for the 6th stack this time because I fucked up and accidentally used my Guardian earlier. So now that the boss is taunted off of me, I can switch back to SOT for this ad to get max damage on it. And I'm keeping an eye on my ES. Maybe I won't use my ES here and save it for the next ad, we'll see. No, I'll use it. So as soon as this guy goes back in the air, I'm going to move off to the side. I should have saved that AS, honestly, but the ad is already so low that I already know it's going to die. I could have used it no problem. Taunting boss. So the stack on me will apply in about 4 seconds, so I'm going to pop DP, and I'm going to pop AD. AD is procced, obviously, because it was a 6th stack. Usually I would have popped Guardian instead of that AD in order to make sure I don't die. However, since I fucked up, I'll not have to deal with this rotation the rest of the fight, since those 6 stacks usually come every 3 minutes apart, so I can no longer reshuffle my rotation even if I wanted to. So the rest of the stacks are for Lerald. This ad I pick up, and I'm going to switch to SOT for it right now. And after those saw blades go down, which they will momentarily, they're bugged, they're going to disappear, there we go. I'm going to move the Shredder through and keep DPSing it here on purple, which is where the next mines spawn. Always keeping an eye on my bog stacks. I'm not going to use my ES here, reason being that it was late and it wouldn't have ticked properly. So I'm just going to save it for the next applicable one. I need to grind this ad a bit harder though, there we go. So switch back to SOI for the boss, and again, the boss is frenzied and Lerald is getting beat on, so I'm going to sack him now to help him through this frenzy currently.
Just get him up when you're back in and then help you stun.
Base is still in the pipe, so...
As soon as Lerald gets his 7th stack, the boss will be taunted by me and move back to blue. So there's the 7th stack, taunting. So I'll move the boss back to blue since this is where the next set of mines will spawn.
Got for it.
And that Shredder is up to Lerald since he's the only one with stack debuffs at the moment. Again, I want to make sure that I'm building up my holy power while we're on this boss right now. While he's about to frenzy. So he's about to frenzy momentarily here. There's this frenzy. I want to make sure I have SOTR up right away. So SOTR is up. I'm also going to DP for his 2nd stack. That way I'll have it up for the 4th stack as well. It's up. So his frenzy's done. He's applied his 2nd stack. Everything's all good. The Shredder is dead. And I will be taking also the next 2 stacks. He's frenzied again. So I want to make sure that I have SOTR up every time. DP procs make it an easy thing to do. So there's the 3rd stack. Now on the 4th stack, I'm going to have DP up again. I'm also going to have the ad falling on top of me, and he's probably going to be frenzied. So it's very important that I have DP up for the 4th application, which is in 6 seconds. So there's the frenzy. I'm going to DP now, and I'm going to keep spamming SOTR to make sure he doesn't get clean hits on me. So there's the 4th stack. Lerald will taunt, and I'm going to be pulling this ad out into the middle while keeping SOI while I run through the fire. After I'm done running through the fire, I'm going to switch to SOT, and I'm going to put this ad into the fire to make sure that... Get in the fucking fire. To make sure that it's ticking, and it helps a lot with DPS, obviously. So there it is. There's the wings and execution sentence. Make sure that I have an AS for when he lands, and get my judgment speed boost so I get back into the boss and to the ad and melee range. Burst it down, and then get back to the boss as quickly as I can. Now, there's no rush to switch to SOI just yet, so I'm going to get a 5 stack of SOT up on the boss, then I'm going to switch to SOI, just a bit more damage, taunting boss. So, because of our extended rotation with the 7 stack, I can use AD if I want now instead of Guardian, which I will do because that's my usual rotation. So after this, he'll probably turn around and apply his 5th stack to me.
Yeah,
There it is. It consumes my AD as planned.
Sure, use pots up there.
Go ahead, Laryl.
To kill it.
So now I'm going to taunt the ad while Laryl taunts the boss and gets his 3rd stack. Because of the quick swaps, I'm not going to use the GCD to swap to SOT for this particular ad. I'm only tanking it for 1 stack and then swapping back to the boss right away. Taunting boss. So when I taunt the boss, I use DP there, just because things were a bit sketchy in terms of his damage on me. He's frenzied right now, and he's about to apply his next stack in 5 seconds. Once he does that, I'm going to use my Guardian. I'm actually going to use it right now. So I used Guardian to make sure that I didn't die from that 6th stack. Let's swap again. So now the ad needs to die. This ad's going to pulse a 4th time. Maybe even a 5th.
Let's kill boss.
This ad was not killed by Laryl and I. It should have been dead well beforehand. 5th pulse coming. 5th pulse.
Boss is dead.
It still got off. I called it.